Welcome in, everyone, to another episode of Hello. My name is a YouTube OOTP series where I interview some of the awesome, talented, creative, and intuitive OOTP affiliates out there. And today, as you can see on my screen, we have one of our, I wouldn't say newer affiliates, but I wouldn't say old affiliates as well in terms of experience streaming the game. It is from the great state of Idaho. Aydubby is in the house. How the heck are you?
What's up? Hello, everyone that's watching this YouTube and everything like that. But yeah, I'm pretty much a middle child affiliate now. So with that comes a middle child love.
Well, we're going to get to some OOTP specific questions a little bit later, but I always like to get a little bit of background about the people that I'm interviewing. So you'll see some questions pop up at the bottom here, Aydubby. Number one is, how did you become such a big fan of Tampa Bay? You can see the logo right above me, the Tampa Bay Rays. I know you're a big fan of that team. How did you become a fan of them? And what are some of your favorite moments or memories from the Tampa Bay past?
Oh, man. So, yeah, it goes back to pretty much 1998 when they started. That was the first year Tampa Bay became a thing in the league. And I grew up in Massachusetts, so everyone was all about Red Sox, or if you didn't like the Red Sox, you were a Yankees fan. So there's a lot of Red Sox, Yankees fan, and everything like that. When I was a kid, I never really liked the Red Sox or Yankees, and my dad was never a Red Sox fan, so I feel like that might have swayed things, but he was an A's fan, so I was like, man. He was an A's and Pirates technically, but I never know which one he usually tends to lean to. My mom was always a Red Sox fan, but I just never liked them, and I didn't like the Yankees either. So when I was younger, I was actually a Tigers fan because I was 6, 7 years old. I liked the animal tigers, so I liked the Detroit Tigers. Saw some games at Fenway Park between the Tigers. Got to, meet some old Tigers players like Todd Jones, Juan Encarnacion, get some autographs and everything. That was awesome. But interestingly enough, 1998, the first game of Tampa Bay, their inaugural season, they played the Tigers. And kind of through playing some video games and stuff, I'd always find myself using Tampa Bay because they were the new thing. And they just sort of became my team, like right then and there. So I transitioned from a Tigers fan to a Rays fan, and who knows, if the Rays never played the Devil Rays at the time, if they never played the Tigers on opening day, might have still been a Tigers fan or something like that. But no, that's kind of how it's been. And then as far as memories go, I've had a lot of them. Made 2 World Series. Unfortunately, haven't won them. My first memory of Tropicana Field, we went there to Florida, like Disney World trip, and then we went over to catch a Tampa Bay game, and it was against the Florida Marlins when they were doing interleague only kind of in July and everything like that. So that was kind of fun because it was a team that they normally didn't play all the time. But no, I saw a walk-off home run by Aubrey Huff in that game. That was an awesome first experience at the Trop. Got to go a couple years ago, 2023, opening day, for my first opening day down there when I was living in Georgia. And yeah, my only other big memory is 2011. They came back from about, 12 games down or something in the last month of the season. And at the last game, Evan Longoria hit a home run down the left field line to take over the Red Sox, who are my most hated team. Evan Longoria hits a home run, a walk-off home run. Tampa Bay is going to the playoffs. I was in college at the time. I remember sprinting out of my dorm and just being so happy that happened because it was just a crazy month and they came back from all the way down.
That's when you're, talking about your experiences and becoming a Tampa Bay Ray fan. I was thinking back to when you play sports games and specifically OOTP and you play the base game, a lot of people, when they jump into the base game, either play their favorite player or they want a favorite team, or they want to be an expansion team. They want to be a new team and start fresh. And so when you said, well, they were the new team, the new flavor of Major League Baseball, kind of reminded me of that. And as well, usually you support someone geographically that's close to you, like you said, like a Boston. Myself, I always cheer for the underdogs. Is that maybe part of why you picked Tampa and didn't support Boston or the Yankees or the East Coast teams because they were the juggernauts?
Probably. I think a lot. I mean, the Red Sox were kind of underdogs at the time, but they were also the ones who would complain about the Yankees and then be second right behind them in spending. So I never liked kind of that kind of feel. But yeah, I mean, as far as sports teams go, I never really rooted for the local team other than the Bruins. And even now, I mean, I'm still a half Bruins fan, but now that Utah has a hockey team, I've been kind of supporting them just as sort of a new thing as well. But, I haven't really seen any professional championships in my life. So definitely an underdog sort of story. And when some of them win, I will finally be happy in the sports world.
I always like to ask this one of people that I interview. If you could sit down and have a conversation, a coffee with any non-baseball player, present or past, who would it be with, and what would be some of the topics of conversation?
That is a very good question. I'm trying to see. I would probably have to go with a singer from my favorite band of all time. His name's Rob Halford, lead singer of Judas Priest, longtime metal band. Seen them many times in concert. I just kind of would love to sit down with them and have a chat and be able to meet, someone who shaped my love of music. I play a ton of instruments and everything like that. And so music has been a big factor in my life, and no one has kind of shaped it as much as I would say Judas Priest has. And so Rob Halford has been doing it a long, long time. Still has a super powerful scream and is just one of the metal icons that kind of, he grew up in the time of, Ozzy Osbourne and Black Sabbath and everything. And so Judas Priest was kind of like that next group up, especially with like the English bands and stuff like that. But I guess that goes back to kind of the underdog, rooting for the underdog. It's just kind of my metal band from that time, even though it was still, before my time, technically. They're kind of in the 70s, 80s. I think just kind of being able to meet him, learn his story. He's dealt with a lot of things in his past as well. And yeah, I think that would be a really, really fun story. And then just maybe hopefully get some tips and some lessons on some music stuff and help with that.
Well, you're the third interview in a row now that music has shaped a big part of that person's life. I talked to EVC, I talked to Max, and both very strong into music as well. Which Judas Priest song would you say has had the most airplay in your life for yourself? Which one has had the most minutes?
That is a good question because I don't know if there's a specific one. If I had to say one, maybe Hellbent for Leather. That was always a good one. Back in the day, I wore a leather jacket just because of Judas Priest, and so I would have one. I got one for my birthday or Christmas or something, and I always kind of treasured that. And it was all just because of Judas Priest, and kind of shaped sort of that. I was definitely, weird rocker / jock sports guy. So I had long hair. I had I had a leather jacket, all that kind of stuff, leather studded belt. It was just kind of fun. But that's always a good song. And at the concerts and everything, Rob Halford would always come out on a big Harley motorcycle to that song and just rev it and everything. And that was really cool. So I would probably go with that one. But I don't know if that one's the most played because I just listen to a lot of their stuff and a lot of other stuff too. But yeah.
It's so nice learning a little bit about the affiliates, even for myself, because I did not know a lot about about this with Aydub. So leather jacket and oh yes, wait for the stream. Wait for his stream. Go check him out. Aydubby on Twitch. Okay, question number 3. Let's start getting into some OOTP content here. Recently, you joined the OOTP team, I guess, as a perfect team researcher. Explain what your role is with OOTP and maybe some of the cards that you've helped influence over the last little while.
Yeah. So good question. Yeah. I got to talking with the content director, Paul Sporer, who's part of the OOTP team. And over the course of the last couple of years, but especially in Perfect Team 26, being able to kind of tailor some players to specific tournaments and cards that come out that would be really good ones. And so pretty much what the role is I get the sets and stuff of what's planned coming up. And so I don't have any kind of extra jump on some of this stuff that other people would think. So, if Spore puts out, we're doing this, like the one this week coming up, we're having or I guess when this is watched, it will be in the past. But this most recent set is like all switch hitters and all knuckleballer pitchers in the history of baseball, along with a couple other fun things. So I see that come out just kind of where everyone else does. It gets announced in the content coming up, and then just sort of being able to go through baseball history, find some of these players, maybe some of these niche players that'll fit in, while also considering, some of the tournaments that are currently going on, if there's specific era restrictions, if there's specific card type restrictions, like if there's a rookie sensation tournament that takes place in 1914 or something like that, then I can find out good rookies that might fit in, the dead ball era and things like that. So it's been really fun. I get to go through baseball history, from the beginning to, up to today, and just kind of go through that. The first one that kind of really started, and I know Spore would say the same thing, is there was an immediate need for sort of a big time left-handed pitcher in the Golden Heart tournament from last year. And just kind of looking who might fit that era, 1930 to 1989, left-handed, and someone that might fit that. So I went through a bunch of different guys. I got a bunch of different names, and I came up across one that would be a perfect fit, and that was Luis Arroyo of the Yankees in 1961. He just recently came out in Perfect Team 27, again, sort of just kind of with the 1961 theme week, sort of as an ode to that, as we got to bring him back, because that was the card that kind of got this thing started. And when I found that, Spore had reached out to me and said, what would you think about doing this more seriously? And so this year I've been able to kind of get into that. And I've gotten to do a lot of different research on some guys. Even in this most recent tournament treasure trove, there was one guy that I really recommended to Spore, who was Freddie Galvis. And it was sort of, I got some messages from people on Discord and everything like that, and they're just like, Iron's kind of needing these things. And I said, I can look. Nothing really came up, and then this switch hitter thing came up. And so just kind of going through some switch hitters, which might, be a good fit, might be someone that overtakes some of the guys that are currently in the game, kind of dominating at their position, but might be a little bit outdated. How do we take them out? So Freddie Galvis was one of the recommendations, and so far it's gotten good reviews. So that's always fun to see as sort of a researcher, and Spore as well for making the actual cards that come out of it, because I don't have a lot of effect on that. Just kind of the names and what might fit, or profiles that might fit. So the Galvis
first card was that you recommended that came out.
The first card, I'm not sure. I'm trying to go back because it was last year. the first card like this year that was sort of the big one was sort of that Iron Mike Trout card, if you remember him.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That baseball
I
reference.
I recommended a Spore because it was kind of I think it was an April set, and he was always had great Aprils. And I said he had a great April here, but it was a very unique April in that he was great, but card wise probably could fit in a lower tier. So I said, well, what if we did an Iron Mike Trout, which felt crazy because he's Mike Trout. He's, probably surefire Hall of Famer. I said, what if we did an Iron Mike Trout? And he's like, I love that. Let's try and work on it. And so when I saw the set come out, there was an Iron Mike Trout in it. That was awesome. Couple from last year was the Luis Arroyo, the Slim Sally silver card for the Roaring Silvers. That was sort of not exactly the player, but it was more the player type that was recommended. Just sort of, give me someone with pretty much no stuff, but everything else is really good. I think that sort of profile will fit for this tournament. And so Spore went in, did the research on finding someone that fit that profile. And so that was a fun result of that. So it's been a really fun time, working alongside Spore and kind of just bouncing some ideas off. And I think just the fact, both he and I really love baseball and the history, I think really works well to hopefully bring some great stuff to this game and keep that content growing strong.
Yeah, I'll bet. It's always so cool when in any way, shape, or form you can kind of make a difference in a game, whatever game that might be, and kind of stamp your name on certain parts of the game. So that's an amazing opportunity. Okay, let's move on to the next question. One of the most difficult aspects for all game developers is player retention. It's I think the golden liner that they always look for is how can we retain players, especially new players. If you were the head of a game developing company or giving suggestions to a company like OOTP, is there anything that you think can be done to help retain new players?
One suggestion that I've talked about before is kind of, I don't know if it's out there or if it's possible, but just sort of right now there's, the different card tiers in Perfect Team, for example, iron, bronze, silver, gold, diamond, perfect. But then there's the iron, which is kind of weird because it goes all the way from 40 to 59, sort of 20 different numbers compared to the other ones, which are just 10 or even like 5 for perfect. One suggestion that I've kind of made sort of off base, but I've also kind of talked to Spore about it, who I'm sure probably got, has mentioned some stuff to the devs, but was kind of making the low iron tier more a starter stone level, which I like to call it at least. And I think that could be a fun little retention for new people coming into the game. Maybe you have a cutoff of like a team score or something like that, but these are tournaments and cards designed to help people get used to the game. Maybe you don't have a ton of variants or any variants or sort of that sort of stuff. Just sort of like a basic tier, something that you get used to. You start learning these cards and then you kind of graduate into the more tiers where people are spending thousands of perfect points on variants and everything like that. But I think player retention wise, you got to kind of get information out there, teach the people how to learn the game, and then make sure you're having fun with it. And a lot of that stuff comes with content, fun tournaments, fun events, things like that. I think once you kind of get hooked and you start seeing that stuff come in, then you just want to keep playing more. You want to see the cards that are coming out. And then obviously that's just Perfect Team, the base game, same thing. You want to see the new stuff, the new advanced stats and stuff that come out this year. You want new reasons to buy the game and continue playing the game. You want everything to work, and you want those new cool features that you get to see every day.
Yeah, very difficult for gaming companies because not only do you have to try and retain the new players, but you have to keep engaging the longtime players. You have to make it challenging enough for those that are really good, but yet still rewarding enough for those people still coming in. Yeah, very difficult task. Last one I have for you here, Aydubby, is what are some of your short-term and long-term goals? Either, as an OOTP player or a streamer, what are some things that you hope to do over the next little while, whether it's within a year, 2 years, 3 years?
Yeah, OOTP player, just kind of continue where I'm at. I don't need to, I've had a lot of success, fortunately, being a perfect team player and everything like that. I guess if I had to say anything on the OOTP side, I am in an online league that I've been in since OOTP 16, 17, and I'm very good at making teams very mediocre there. Never won a championship, so I would say that would be a big goal of mine. I've switched teams a couple times in that league to kind of, mix it up and everything. We're running Milwaukee now, so we'll see if we can get get something out of that. But yeah, been in the online league a long time, never won, so that would be probably my goal. Perfect team wise, I got a PTWC second place last year. I don't know if I could ever get back to that point again, because of just how competitive the environment is. But that was really cool to be sort of part of, and everything like that. So goal wise, there, I don't think there's anything specific other than reach goals, which are, everyone's sort of reach goals, PTWC #1, or winning a perfect league trophy. Probably some things that I might never do, but always kind of reach goals. Streamer wise, I'd like to get more consistency, being able to do that. I find a lot of fun with it, but do have a young family, so it's hard to kind of get going with things. But I think mostly just sort of just kind of get more consistent, do it, just being able to show the fun that I have with it, and then just continue with this sort of PT perfect team research in the perfect team research analyst role, and just sort of continue to bring cool things to the game, help Spore and the team as much as I can, and whatever is asked of me. Everyone's like, Paul's always like, you can say no if you don't want to look this up or do this. And I'm like, why would I say no? I have fun doing it. So no doesn't usually come out of me when I'm asked to research any sort of historical baseball players or specific spots. So I'd like to continue with that and just kind of see where that goes and just meaningfully contribute.
What can the audience do to catch more of your content, more of your streams? Do you have set times? When are you on Twitch?
Don't really have a ton of set times right now, but Thursday afternoons after Laptop Hound, I like to stream, get some of that stuff done. We do some roster building, some pack opening, some card review, especially of ones that I might have had some research into. Other than that, it's usually night times. It is usually on random nights. Wednesday nights I was doing a lot of. I'd like to get back to that. Otherwise, you might just see me pop on and come say hello and everything like that. But usually it's about 11 p.m. Eastern time, between 11 or 1 a.m. Eastern time. So if you're a night owl, you can come hang out and join some of the late night crew like Ezra Denny and Franchise Time Machine, who are known late nighters as well. So
amazing. Well, there you have it. Another episode of Hello, My Name Is. In this case, it was Aydubby, streaming on Twitch and helping Spore with the content creation. Thank you so much, Aydubby. Look forward to chatting with you more. Aydubby, by the way, is one of my mods on my stream. Does a wonderful job and always there to entertain and engage and answer questions for all the new players. So if you can't catch Aydubby, pop onto my stream and you'll have a chance to ask him some questions there. Thanks so much, Aydubby, and all the best in your OOTP career.
Awesome. Thanks for having me. It's been fun. Always like talking to you. See ya.